Hi everyone, and welcome to week 4 of Counseling the College-Bound Student. This is the week of July 10th. The topics for this week are the counselor cycle, parts of an application, the essay, letters of recommendation, and campus visit and interviews. Your assignments for this week are chapters 12 and 21. You will have to write a letter of recommendation for Clark Kent, which information is posted in the assignment box there. And then you will have a couple essays that you will have to read and respond to, and there is a post in the discussion board for that. That is assignment 8. You will have 2 discussion questions for the week, one on discipline and the letter of recommendation and what to disclose for a situation. And the second one is about school profiles and reviewing a couple profiles and responding to those. You will see lecture notes for week 4 have been posted. Pretty self-explanatory this week, some pretty concrete topics. So this should not take long on my end, but the counselor cycle just really talks about what you do when. We've already talked briefly about the early awareness piece in elementary and middle school, but this really focuses more on what to do in grades 9 through 12. Keep in mind that every school is different, but what you've been given in the lecture notes kind of give you what you should be doing each year. And again, that will vary depending on the school and the populations. Parts of an application, you will have the list there, several of which will break further apart, like for example, the essay and letter of recommendation. So you have that pretty standard list. Obviously, there are pieces that when you get into, say, applying for art school, you might need a portfolio, or auditioning for dance or drama or theater. So there are some pieces there that may be different. And you know, the whole idea of simplification, many schools are looking for less, and particularly if they're a large school looking at numbers only. So there's not as much to the application as, say, it may have been previously. But we'll talk more about that a little bit when we talk about essays and letters of recommendation. And then lastly, campus visits and interviews. So the essay, you've got some information that's posted there. I've also posted just a handout that I use with my students about writing the essay. A lot of times this is done in conjunction with, say, an English faculty member. You may do a separate activity. That's up to you. But definitely we want to give them that advantage of some support and information around how to write the essay. There's been tons written about it. You can buy books that have sample essays in it and what to do, what not to do. My take on it is the more selective the school, the more important the essay is. The less selective schools, the essays don't matter as much, but still we want our students to be present themselves well. One of the most important pieces that I say is answer the question. It's particularly if you have follow-up. Some schools will have, in say Common App or another, they'll have the additional essays that are required, and that's done for a couple reasons. One is to get to know you. One is you have to do something unique for that school and not just a generic application. And then they also just want to make you do extra work. You know, if you're not willing to write an extra essay, then they probably don't want you as a student there. In terms of letters of recommendation, again, there's stuff posted in the course documents about that may be helpful, including a 4-page document that I've created about writing the counselor letter of recommendation. You're welcome to browse that. Most important advice I give you about that is, what does your school want from you? And get an idea from a supervisor or an administrator what the expectation is in terms of length, in terms of content. Do not regurgitate what they have said in their application. Do not regurgitate what a teacher might say. You're really taking the bigger picture and putting it all together. My letters are no more than 1 page. Some extreme cases where I have lots to say, but I really try to make it fit on 1 page. And I really try to tell them something that's different, that would not be found out from any other place in the application, so that my letter is unique and informing and not just regurgitating data that they can find elsewhere. So that's something I would recommend. You try to be unique. It's hard if you have a lot of students, you don't know your students well, or you just don't have the time to really do an in-depth letter. A lot of counselors will start in the summer actually with their letters because they want to get them done and get them going. And that gets hard, you know, if you're writing hundreds of letters a year, how do you be unique and different in each one? And that does provide a challenge. So, and lastly, campus visits and interviews. That's just, you know, you got to get on campus. Some of you have noted that already in the materials I read in the discussion board last week. Um, you know, you got to see the campus. You got to see if that's some place that you want to be. The other thing is, you know, now with the internet, you can do a lot of stuff online. In terms of interviews, not many schools require this anymore, but if they do, I strongly recommend, particularly if you're looking at a student looking at a school that's got a selective program, say like physical therapy, and you live nearby, you need to go visit. You need to be on campus, because if you don't take that opportunity, it's probably not going to help you when it comes to the admission process, especially if you're close by and you don't visit. You may also have an alumni interview with someone from this university or school, provide feedback, which is certainly fine. But that's just one piece of the big puzzle. So there's some information in the posted there for you about those things, but you know, certainly students should be well prepared for them and do a good job, but it's not necessarily, you know, going to be the end all be all, depending on, again, the situation in the school. So that's the information for this week. A lot to read and follow up on in your materials, but certainly if you have any questions, let me know.